Ooh-wee. We've got some breaking news today. Well, you all know, maybe you don't know, about my Brie shed. Yes, the wonderful shed that Brie Larson built me. It's a wonderful place, a nice, cool home for my lawnmower to rest in the summer months, as well as my snowblower. It's spacious, luxurious. One day, maybe Dankula will actually live there. But now I've set my goals on something new. I've always wanted a bowling alley in my home. And it looks like Brunswick has some really nice home alley setups. A guy can dream. Why might I have this dream, you might be saying? Well, because Disney wants Brie Larson to lead their new Star Wars trilogy. Yes, 1,000 times yes. Please do this. Please, Disney, look, you've done nothing but let me down for the past 10 years. You can make it all right if you put Brie Larson in the front and center role of a new Star Wars trilogy. And why might this actually be happening? We're going to get to this in a minute. Well, because Kevin Feige has been announced to be developing the new Star Wars movie. Star Wars, shocker. Marvel Kevin Feige developing a new movie for Disney. Now, I don't know about you, but nobody loves the formulaic, no-stakes movies of the Avengers more than I do, and I can't wait for him to do the exact same thing to Star Wars. Lucasfilm's Kathleen Kennedy is, quote, pursuing a new era in Star Wars storytelling. And knowing what a die-hard fan Kevin is, it made sense for these two extraordinary producers to work on a Star Wars film together. Walt Disney Studios co-chairman Alan Horn tells The Hollywood Reporter. Now, the theory is that Kevin Feige is truly replacing Kathleen Kennedy, but they're not going to fire her because that's just a bad look for the company. But who knows? Maybe they really are teaming up on it. It seems unlikely for two egos the size of both of theirs to be like co-managers. You know what I mean? Like, it seems like one's going to be the manager and the other one's going to be the assistant to the regional manager kind of thing. To the surprise of no one, Kevin Feige is a huge Star Wars fan. It might surprise many, however, that the Marvel Studios chief is going to be developing a Star Wars movie as Lucasfilm president Kathleen Kennedy makes new plans for a wave of projects in the universe, The Hollywood Reporter has learned. Now, we also know that Kevin Feige believes Captain Marvel is the most powerful Avenger, period. We also know how much he loves Brie Larson, which lends some credence to the rumor later in the video, which came out separately, but I'm going to cover both in the same video because why not? Feige had discussed a foray into the Star Wars universe in late summer meeting with Kennedy and studio co-chairman Alan Horn and Alan Bergman. Sources say in response to the query, The Hollywood Reporter, Walt Disney Studios co-chairman Chief Alan Horn said, "We are excited about the projects Kathy and the Lucasfilm team are working on, not only in terms of Star Wars, but also Indiana Jones, reaching into parts of the company, including Children of the Blood and Bone with Emma Watts and Fox." Now, it seems like Star Wars is basically a zombie franchise. Indiana Jones, same thing. It will never be the same thing it ever was, and it's frustrating to see these old classics basically wheelchaired out for people in some dilapidated, zombified form to suck in the normies. Essentially, that's what it is. Hardcore Indiana Jones fans will always, quote, give it a try. Same with Star Wars. A lot of Star Wars people gave it a try, and after watching The Last Jedi, all-time interest in Star Wars has been significantly down when you look at Google search trends data. Now, I'm sure we'll see it spike around Christmas time when the marketing blitz hits, but for now, it remains relatively dormant. Some see this movie as a prelude to a larger role for Feige within Lucasfilm, while others say it merely reflects the Marvel executives' passion for the franchise. A top Disney source says Kennedy remains in charge with no plans for change. One knowledgeable source says Feige has told a major actor that there's a specific role he would like that person to play, and when he makes the movie, it's gonna be Brie. It's gonna be Brie. It's gonna be Brie. We know it's gonna be Brie. However, with Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, set to hit theaters December 20th, it will greatly underperform. By the way, it will still probably make $1 billion. See, that's the thing. A lot of Disney apologists will say, well, it still made $1 billion. Yeah, but that's kind of the new standard. It's like saying the minimum wage now is $15, and so that's awesome because the minimum wage used to be $6. It's still the minimum. $2 billion seems like the new number that Disney needs to achieve. And also, make no mistake about it, the marketing budgets for these films are gigantic. Now, if the film cost $500 million, the generally kind of tossed around number is usually the marketing budget is equal to that. We don't know if the marketing budget for something like Captain Marvel was significantly more, significantly less. There's all sorts of crazy theories that Disney buys seats, which makes sense. You want all the headlines on the opening weekend. You know, let's say your marketing budget is $500 million. Is it reasonable that you spend $50 million on buying seats the opening weekend so that the headlines read, you know, new movie smashes box office record? It seems like you might do that. I would do that. I mean, I run a marketing agency, and if you told me that the power of those headlines would carry a movie for the next several weeks, might be a worthwhile investment. I'd have to look at the ROI. It's understandable that Disney would like to keep as much about the future of the franchise under wraps as possible. Skywalker, otherwise known as Episode 9, is meant to be the final installment of the series that was first launched by George Lucas in 1977, who, by the way, came out this week saying he felt betrayed by certain things. I didn't cover it because it was kind of sad. It is also meant to win back fans after the last sequel trilogy, Star Wars Last Jedi, divided audiences, even though reviews were largely positive and the film grossed $1.3 billion worldwide. Even The Hollywood Reporter acknowledges that many fans didn't like the film. And I gotta be honest with you, Episode 9 doesn't look like it's going to win back fans. Why? People don't like Rey. I mean, that's the hard truth of it. That's the inconvenient truth that Disney has to deal with. People don't like Rey. She's a Mary Sue. She's boring. She's got no discernible backstory, no reason to care about her. Say what you want about her as an actor, that's like second or third, because if people don't like the character, you could be the greatest actor in the world and it's not going to save you. Under Feige's leadership, Marvel had an extraordinary run of hits, including 4 of the top 10 movies ever released. Of course, that number will always go up. This summer, Avengers Endgame grossed $2.9 billion, surpassed Avatar to become the top grosser of all time, not adjusted for inflation. Feige has had a packed slate of Marvel movies and TV in the works. By the way, none of the upcoming Marvel movies are remotely interesting to me. The Black Widow origin story, maybe. I don't even think I'd see that in the theater. Doctor Strange might be the only one I'm genuinely interested to see. Under Feige's leadership, Marvel has had an extraordinary run. He has a packed slate of Marvel movies in TV in the works. Kennedy has been the president of Lucasfilm since 2012. She is one of very few women in top executives at Disney. So, she was picked for the job by Lucas before he sold the company for $4 billion that year. It's so funny to just throw these numbers around that none of us could ever really understand. So far, the 4 Star Wars films produced by Disney have grossed $4.5 billion, but while Feige has presided over a mostly seamless rollout of the Marvel one hit after another, reinvigorating the Star Wars franchise has not been a smooth process. Gareth Edwards was effectively sidelined as the helmer of the troubled 2016 film Rogue One, with Tony Gilroy shooting the third act. The film went on to become a hit, generating strong reviews and $1.1 billion worldwide. In June 2017, Kennedy fired directors Phil Lord and Chris Miller During the prequel film Solo, amid concerns about their improvisational style, Ron Howard stepped in to finish the film, which grossed $392 million to become the first Star Wars pick to lose money. On September 2017, Jurassic World filmmaker Colin Trevorrow was dropped as an actor of Star Wars Rise of the Skywalker and replaced by J.J. Abrams, as director, and successfully relaunched his franchise in 2015. The Force Awakens, Bob Iger conceded in a recent New York Times interview that the studio had made mistakes. I think that we might have put a bit too much in the marketplace too fast. I agree. We all knew that. It was, you go from a film that used to be a huge event, oh my goodness, a new Star Wars film, to the fact that you're going to see one every Christmas. It completely reduces and dampens the hit, the excitement factor. It's like, another Star Wars film would be coming out every year for as long as I can imagine, so I guess I'll just catch it on DVD. Disney has been criticized for the lack of women in top roles. Brie Larson. While Disney and Lucasfilm have scaled back development of Star Wars movies, in part due to poor performance of Solo, it is still working on future movies. Both Last Jedi Helmer, Ryan Roundhead Johnson, and Game of Thrones showrunners D.B. Weiss and David Beinhoff are working on a future project set in the Star Wars universe, and Disney is ramping up on streaming service of Disney+. Well, which brings us to the best news ever. Make this happen. Make this happen. Disney wants Brie Larson to lead their new Star Wars trilogy. I can just think of it now. I mean, if this happens, I'm wondering, like, would I get one of these? I wouldn't want to get one of these, like, decorative floors. I just want, like, a plain floor, you know? Like at the bowling alley. I'm not sure. Definitely one of these newer scoring systems. Probably some custom pins, maybe. That would be, I suppose we'll have to see. Captain Marvel star Brie Larson showed us her lightsaber skills over the summer when she checked out the new Star Wars Galaxy's Edge experience. But what are the chances Brie Larson will show up in a Star Wars movie? Well, she's clearly a big fan of the sci-fi franchise, given she's still preparing for the next phase of MCU. It's unclear if she'd have the time to hop on. By the way, we don't know anything about Captain Marvel 2. We don't know if there's any production schedule. We don't know anything about it. For Catherine McNamara, all of which have now been confirmed, have told us. They've told us the studio would certainly be interested in having her on board if they can make it work. Sources close to We Got This Covered. The same place told us Tom Welling was returning to Crisis on the Infinite Earths, Jonah Hill was signing on for Batman, and CW is developing an Arrow spinoff. So the source is good. It's unclear which one she'd appear in, if she'd even travel to the galaxy far, far away at all. But from what we understand, the Mouse House would like to find a way to make it work and have her continue her MCU commitments while also being involved in Star Wars. And though that may not be possible in the end, we'll keep our fingers crossed that things work out. Well, of course, that news comes hot on the heels of a report that Disney had begun to lose confidence in Brie and her Captain Marvel character. At the time, we stressed that should be taken with a grain of salt, given some dubious sources that we can't say for certain was false. It certainly seems that way now, as we're hearing the studio wants to work with her on Star Wars. Why not put Brie Larson in everything, Disney? Brie Larson for Mufasa, Brie Larson starring in Monsters, Inc., Brie Larson for Toy Story, Brie Larson for Tron reboot. Why can't it all be Brie Larson? In any case, it's possible that Brie and Disney Lucasfilm will deny if asked about this, but let's not forget that Tom Welling denied he was not returning for Crisis on several occasions. We all know what happened there. While things can always change, we have no reason to doubt our sources, given they've also given us ones that told us Marvel was developing She-Hulk and Ms. Marvel shows before the official announcements were made. But we digress. For now, we can tell you with certainty that Disney would like to have Brie Larson take a lead role in one of their new Star Wars trilogies. As soon as we learn more, we'll let you know. Well, I will hold off on the pre-order. But I promise you, if I can make this happen, if this happens, that bowling alley is getting installed. Well, what do you think about the news for the Star Wars universe? What do you think about Brie Larson starring in the new trilogy? What do you think is the future of Star Wars? I think it's going to be dicey. I hope you enjoyed this video. We'll talk to you again real soon. Hey, thanks so much for watching this video, and I really hope you enjoyed it. Above, you'll find some links to watch more videos, as well as a nice big button to subscribe, which I hope you'll do. If you did enjoy it, make sure before you go that you leave a like and a comment on the video, because you are the #1 reason this channel continues to grow, and I appreciate you.